This is a lifelong journey of specializing and putting the right product in front of that right person who's going to pay me that $500,000 for what I'm doing.
Hi everyone, Marion here. Today I'm excited to share a recent client conversation I've had with my client Beni from Scott Rogers Design, all the way from Australia. In this video we're chatting a lot about her experience in my program, and she'll give you a little behind the scenes peek into how I work with luxury jewelers across the world. So let's listen in.
Maybe it's a good idea to just do a quick intro in the type of jewelry that you sell and give our viewers a little bit of an idea as to what type of services and jewelry that you guys make, and maybe a little bit of an idea as to what the price points are, because we're talking luxury jewelry, but people may interpret that differently.
Yeah, like Scott and myself own the company, and we it's very focused on the craftsmanship of fine jewelry. And at the core, we're designers, and our outlook to jewelry is extremely from an artistic point of view. Everything we do is on an artistic point of view. So that's really important, and we've stuck to that, We like to think that brings more soul into the pieces that we create. There's a flair, there's a taste, there's obviously the energy and the time taken to create beautiful stuff. So the quality is at the forefront, and I know everyone would say quality is something they focus on, but there's a fine balance between the quantity of work we do and how it's presented to the clients is really important. So the relationship part of the business, the love for what we do takes priority to anything else. And obviously then the craftsmanship part, where we hand make, and Scott's talent in picking beautiful pieces, my talent as an artist for a long time, and how, like I said, how we take people through the journey of making pieces. The pricing, we're quite, it depends on obviously it's a commodity, it's rare, it's beautiful, so it's a luxury product. So forget about us being put into a category of let's make a deal, or we're not that. We're not part of that, and that's not something that I ever want to be. So I always call my business an inch wide and narrow, quite mile deep. So we just go deeper and deeper, richer and richer, and strategy-wise, specialization is key for me. So products start from anywhere between, it could be $1,000 for a gift item for one of our existing clients, and then it just jumps up into the $5,000 category to $10,000, $15,000, and then we've got our main bonus artistic jewelry categories where we work with people, which jumps from 30, 80,000, 100,000. Doesn't really matter.
Love it. And I always have to think back on the way that you found me. Obviously, I'm over here in the Netherlands. You're all the way over in Australia. So I believe thinking back, you found me through YouTube. Is that right?
I think the way I found you was through YouTube, because I was probably searching for something, and what I was searching for, and that's my biggest thing, is target audience. Is how do I've valued that a lot in my business, because I am very fussy on that note, who I work with and who I cater to and who's going to be in my life and it's everything in my life I'm discerning, I'm conscious as an individual. So when I time pick something in Google and something shows up, I'm not always accurate with the picks, but what really attracted me was there was a direct answer to what I was looking for, and what I was looking for was exactly that: is how do I create a list of people that I can make happy and cater to, and that suit my product? And the answer is not that simple. So you were the first person who just went, here are the 3 ways you can explore that. And if we just apply that, no matter how our situation changes, you can always rely on that.
The crucial point is that you know what you stand for and what you want to achieve. And so you're basically selecting the clients to work with you. And that's a very different approach in just throwing spaghetti at a wall and saying, well, let's see who wants to buy. So you're actually the one selecting people into your world.
Oh, yeah. And I've done that too, where, you know, when you start a business, your first year, you're just like a little child or an untrained horse now that we've started that. And you're just all over the place, you know, till someone holds the rein and says, hey, you know, start building your own foundation. And as a society, I have always respected the specialization with stuff. Yeah. So I will always go for a specialized person like you who knows what you're doing in your field. There's a very neutral feedback. There's no conflict of interest. Even if you had a jewelry shop, I think you wouldn't have a conflict of interest, which is great because you're just like that by nature. You've got a very neutral response. You give, you're not putting anything down or not putting anything up. So all these qualities are what I look for when I'm working with someone, you know. It's like she's not really said this is bad or this is not. And that's incredible, actually, where you can just hold the ground and then see what kind of fits in properly. Because if it's too emotional, I don't want someone highly emotional. So, because then they're slightly, there's a bit of emotion, too much emotion involved in the decisions of how, with strategy. At least I don't want too much of that.
So what's been the most kind of notable change for you going through the program and working with me so far?
Again, this is extremely, so obviously this is hard again, because for me, I just feel like my reflection and results are always, with my business, it'll always be who I am. So slow and steady has been the results where I've really had the patience to execute what you're saying, but to execute it in those bite-sized pieces with every week of actioning a single point, or even going, I've got to get Marion on the phone again, so I better do something. So it's literally an accountability. And as a result of that, it's funny how businesses flourish with that, because my business will show me some sort of a result because of that commitment and accountability. Like something is working, and I go, wow, this is worked because of a very simple point that you made, which was get in front of the clients, ensure that your business requires that. And so it's really hard to say where I was and where I am now. What I can sense, though, is not only where I'm now, but where I can take this. So I'm going to take it to another level. And I think that level is more true to who we are as a business. And that's the biggest change that I've seen in our business, is to ensure that I'm sticking to what we're doing and not getting distracted by a lot of other stuff that's going on. And there's a lot of stuff that's going on. So it kind of, the creative juices have, obviously, I enjoy this part of marketing myself. So I think there's a lot of joy, and there's a lot of, I look forward to chatting with you. I don't want to really get rid of the relationship, because it is a co-creation. So all these aspects in a business, as a small business, I miss that, you know. I mean, I want the artistic brainstorm and the love for what we do from someone else's point of view too, you know. So all that's, probably people don't put as much value to it. I do. So for me, as a result, my business grows because I pay attention to all those exciting things, you know. And I always have, you know. So that's my lifelong formula, though, with work as a ex-hairdresser, trained in a very disciplined school of hairdressing in London. It's the biggest thing. All successful people go is, if you cannot execute it the next day, if not the day that you learned something, it's gone. It's your opportunity is past. So the application of what you've learned is to be straight away. Otherwise, you've just lost that opportunity of something can happen. And I've done that with your strategies. Every strategy, I've just gone next day and I've rolled it in any form. It's just, even if it's with Scott, just do it. Do it with your friend, family, mom, dad, whatever. Just the essence of it. I mean, it's not like, hey, are you going to buy a diamond ring? It's just the essence of why you're saying what, or outreaching, getting over, the inhibitions that we all have, just try it.
Yeah, I love it. And that's where I believe if you're being proactive, you are actually in the driver's seat of your own, not just business, but life. You get, and you said that at the beginning, you get to select who you want to work with. And the life, the people that you let into your inner circle and your clientele, and you can be very discerning in who you want to work with and the beautiful jewelry that you want to make for the right people, and not just.
And that list gets smaller and smaller every year. The more I work with you and anyone who's going to get me, because people are different and everyone's unique, and I have a unique product, so it's not going to be majority of the people are going to overlook that uniqueness, because that's what makes it unique. So I've got to be very careful where it's going and the journey it's taking. So for me, I've got to keep working on that. This is a lifelong journey of specializing and putting the right product in front of that right person who's going to pay me that $500,000 for what I'm doing. Because it's a match. It's never about the money. I mean, the weekly calls are the hero of this. Like, I haven't ever looked forward to weekly calls as much as I do now, because again, it's just so much more than what meets the eye. That's the whole thing about working with someone. It's always a deeper relationship. There's a connection to the person on an individual level. This is why we do jewelry, like custom jewelry and stuff like that. It's the same stuff, you're really catering and tailoring to the individual. You know me, you know my business. Who better to ask my next move, especially to some outsider, than you, So it kind of builds that with weekly calls, and it's like you become my little AI. Only real.
Yeah.
I go, what do you think of that, Marion? And you'll go, yeah, I think that suits your business, or you'd say, I don't think that suits you guys, because you know us now quite intimately. So I think that's obviously the luxury part of having someone like you. And if someone can, then definitely I'd go without a doubt. It's like having a personal trainer, not having one. So it just depends on people's situation, but definitely worth every penny, and it's worth.
So what would you say if someone were thinking about working with me? What would you, from your point of view, say to them? What would you suggest they do, or where they should be in their business to really maximize the time that they have in my program and working with me, from your point of view?
From my point of view, again, it's highly individual where the business is at. I think wherever someone's at will benefit. Just doing the ABCs of marketing and business. And I think the biggest benefit of working with you is engaging in that creative endeavors, I call it. And I don't know, anyone being in a jewelry business, and if they're not going to feed their creativity, I feel it becomes very transactional. And whether a business is transactional or not, I think it's a really important element to ensure that that you will help them because of your massive study and depth and research in this market is the value you bring into the conversation to assist other people grow within what they're doing without feeding it into their mouth, because then what happens is I won't take the responsibility, you know. So there's a very good discipline in the way you operate, and to me that's everything, right? Because if the person I'm paying and wanting to learn from cannot hold that, it's like a horse. I'm just going to be all over the place, you know. So and I think that's what I would seek in a person. And if you can do that, your business is going to be like that, you know. I mean, you're going to be very focused in the results that you want. And like I said, it's different for everyone, you know. So what I get out of it. But yes, for another business, I'd say, yeah, I just jump on with Marion and just try it, you know. If not, just give it a go. Because we're not used to this, right? We always look at it as an expense, but it can be an expense. I'm just being honest. But we cannot look at the expense as an expense without the value that it gives you. And I don't think the value is as obvious, but it's there. I can guarantee it's there.
Yeah.
So obviously, you know your stuff, which is great.
I do. I actually do.
And you're quite, yeah, you're not very loud about it, which is what I like too, you know. I mean, it's straightforward.
Love it.
So that is really important. It's a simple truth I have to keep reminding myself.
Yeah.
We are slow and steady, but that's how I work. As a business, you can adapt whatever strategy and however you are with the strategies. So for me, the most important part was how I have applied the information that was delivered to me by Marion, by you, and how I have integrated that within my business. It's your information is extremely accurate, and it's got a lot of research backed with it, and you're extremely very clever and intelligent. But it's not your responsibility for my business to grow. It is my responsibility. And then the minute I've changed my habit from not doing something to doing something, the results are instant.
Yeah.
So specifically about my favorite one is to entertain and outreach. Outreach is by far favorite. And the second one is your next best client gift. I love that. That's my thing, is I want to prepare my client for her next big piece. And I'll never limit them to my limitation. So that's a great one. It's a great strategy. Just tell them what they want, what they think they don't want, but want. It's just try and kind of keep focusing on that North Star, you know, why are you here? Why are you doing this? And you can do it, you know. So that mindset is really key. And I've really trained very hard on that. So it becomes easier to work with people like you, and it just brings more joy into that too, you know, with collaborations and partners.
Obviously, everyone has that additional stress that you run a business, you've got bills to pay, but it shouldn't distract from where you want to go. And
I call that the death of the soul.
Yes. I know, you'll just sell out and wake up 5 years down the road and you have a business that you don't enjoy because all you do is push out generic products that you're not really in love with for the sake of the transaction. Yeah. And that's not the business that most high-end jewelers want to build. The artisans and the designers and the artists, they don't want to build. a business like that.
Yeah, I mean, there are people like us, I'm sure, I mean, whoever's listening to this knows exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, yes, we all go through the same, but there is ways you can get out of that. Or it's actually essential to get distracted, bottom out, but then get back on track. That's the main thing, is keep searching for that essence, the key, that we all hold to our own hearts and souls. Because why else would you be an artist or be in this field or do anything, for a matter of fact?
Yeah.
So thanks, Marion, getting us into
Thank
that.
you as well, Beni.
Yeah, at least for me. It's been
beautiful
very good.
words to close off
I
this
know.
interview.
Thank you so much to Beni for sharing those insights. It really means the world to me. And I hope you enjoyed the glimpse into how I work with luxury jewelers around the world. And if you're interested in learning more about my program, check out the link in the video description below. And thanks for watching. See you in the next one.